Mrs. Tinuade Abodunrin Badamosi. I'm the daughter of Funlayo and Adewumi Adedoyin.
I am Alaji Shafari Aremu Sule, a native of Ikorodu town.
My name is Binta Olubusola Kabir, nee Adedoyin. My father is from Kwara State, Ofa, and my mother is from Isaleko, Ojurin, Lagos State.
My parents are from Ikorodu, both my paternal and maternal. My father is from Lasumo ruling house of Ikorodu, while my mother was from Rademo. And those are the two ruling houses that can become the Oba, the Ayogburen of Ikorodu. So I'm from Ikorodu, I'm from Lagos State.
My name is Nabil Naman. I was born in Ibadan in May 1956, and my parents moved to Lagos in 1960, which is 57 years ago.
My name is Nkechi Modi. I was born in Lagos on the 2nd of July 1967 at the Island Maternity Hospital, which I'm very proud of. And my parents came to Lagos probably in the late 50s and early 60s because my mother finished nursing, from the nursing school in Calabar, and then came to Lagos to work at the Mercy Children's Hospital. And my father joined Shell at that time too. So that's what really brought them to Lagos. And they had and then from then onwards they lived in Lagos and never moved out. Had all their children in Lagos.
My name is Fumi Olusegun Kujere. I'm a doctor. I work with Danone Nutrition. I was born in December 29, 1983, and I was born here in Lagos, Akopi Crescent. That's in Surulere, not too far from here. However, from Akopi Crescent, we moved to Festac at a point. My mother is originally from Ogun State, Ijebu, and my father is from Osun State. When she entered university was when her parents, as my grandparents, moved into Lagos. So she actually did her primary, secondary outside Lagos.
My name is Dr. Odulami Koladaisi.
My name is Peter Rufai, Prince Peter Rufai, a.k.a. Dodo Mariana.
I got to Lagos in 1967, so I've lived in Lagos for 50 years actually.
Wow.
Yeah, 50 years. I'm as old as Lagos.
I'm 79, thereabouts. I finished my school. I came
I'm your senior brother.
79 and straight into stationary stores.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mom is Animation, she's Lagos, so I'm a full-blown Lagos boy. My dad is from Ibadan though.
My dad is from Idimu, yeah, the royal family, and my mom is from the royal family as well, of Opobo, King Jaja of Opobo. So,
Idimu of Lagos?
Idimu of Lagos.
Oh, you're a Lagosian?
Yeah,
full-blown?
Full one.
All right, interesting.
My name is Benga Ismail.
My name is Tokumbo Adetono. I'm the CFO of Naira Box. I was born in 1982. I've lived in Lagos all my life. My grandparents on my mother's side moved to Lagos, and so my mother had lived in Lagos her entire life. And on my father's side, he moved to Lagos in search of job opportunities, and was very successful in that.
Okay, my name is Jay Chikeze. I am the co-founder and chief operating officer for Jog Technologies, owners of Naira Box. And I was born on the 25th of October, 1983. My parents are from Abia State, Umaya specifically.
My name is Nike Majakodumi. I am the CEO of Nuts About Cakes Limited. I am a wife, a mother of 3 beautiful children. I was born on the 29th of April. I've lived in Lagos from when I was born, and I currently work and live in Lagos.
My name is Faye Olunuga. I was born on the 5th of May, 1989.
Musibawa Koji Fashanu. I was born in 1941, 24th December, in Lagos.
I'm Otumba Engineer Olajide Oluremi Oshonobi. I was born and bred in Lagos, and I grew up in Lagos. I was born at Mercy Hospital in Lagos on the 25th March 1940. My mother is from Oru Ijebu, while my dad came from Ijebu-Gbo. They met themselves in Lagos, they got married in Lagos. My mother happens to be teaching in Lagos, and my daddy happens to be a building contractor that time.
My name is Kunle Tejiosho, and I work and run Jazz Hall, which is like a culture shop in Lagos. We sell books, music, amongst other things.
My name is Babatunde Gbadamosi, and this is my son, Taiwo Gbadamosi. I'm a real estate developer. We build and sell homes within the, well, for now, we're still in Lagos State, but we have national and international aspirations to spread our brand across West Africa, at least, at the very minimum. I've lived in Lagos now for on and off. Well, I had an off period of 17 years, but for the most part of my 50 years on earth, I've lived in Lagos, yes. Both my parents are from Ikorodu in Lagos State.
My name is Evangelist Professor Ebenezer Obey Fabi. I was born on April 3rd, 1942. I was born in Lagos. My mother, though, became pregnant at Idogo. And she used to come to Mercy Street Hospital for her maternity attention. And she delivered the baby known as Ebenezer Obey in Lagos Mercy Street Hospital on the 3rd of April. So by birth, I'm a Lagosian.
Very clean. Very, very clean. The sanitation people come around every day to sanitize the drainages. They put insecticides inside the drainages to keep mosquitoes out. They also go inside people's homes to make sure that they don't keep stagnant water in maybe sardine tins or corned beef tins
People were happier. There was not as much money as there is now. There is so much money around. But yet in those days, in the 60s and 70s, people didn't have that money, but they were closer to each other.
We are like one family. Everybody knew each other.
Then I couldn't walk down the street without someone's mother shouting if I wear the wrong thing. You know, and things like that. But you see also, we've lost that neighborly thing. It's no longer there.
You know, discipline. I mean, they cane you, or you have corporal punishment. Sometimes they ask you to stoop down. They can ask you to go and do something, to go and wash the toilet. You don't have to grumble.
You are a child of the community. you really find it difficult to do anything wrong, seriously wrong, because you are within the community and every member of the community disciplines you in whatever you do. You know, they know your parents, you know them. So it's fairly difficult for you to be rude to them. Because if you are rude to them because you are not too sure who they are, they know you and they will come to your house to report or deal with you and then come to your house to tell your parents they were the ones who dealt with you.
I remember living in Victoria Island, riding our bicycle all around the streets. It was easy to walk on the streets, to go to your friend's house, and all you have to say is, "Mommy, I'm going to the neighbor's house," and you pop over. I'm going down the road to see a friend, and you ride your bicycle there. So it was fun.
We're always discovering shortcuts and different paths and alleys and discovering nature. It was green. It was a beautiful place. Papa was beautiful. And Yaba was, for me, I don't know if you know Yaba well. Yaba had all our bungalows, all these Afro-Brazilian bungalows. And everybody knew everybody. You know the Johnsons, you know the this, you know the that. Every house had a meaning. So Yaba, for me, was full of culture. A lot of people, yes, they're based in Lagos, but of Egba descent in my area.
At first, it was really sparse. I remember when I was in primary school, Lagos was nowhere near as busy as it is now. I mean, we knew, for instance, we knew every car on the street. Even in Surulere, we knew every car. So if a strange car came into the street, we knew that it didn't belong in the streets. We knew the neighbors' cars by their sounds even, not even by their horns. That came later, about 5 years later. I'm talking about 1972, 1973 here. So Lagos was not quite as populated as it is now, and everybody knew everybody else. Most homes were just, wide open. You went into the neighbor's house, you could, have your breakfast, lunch, dinner there, and head back to your own house. You would not be missed, It was the age of innocence, if you like.
It's quiet. I remember there was no water then, though. So, but now there's water. So that was the only challenge at that neighborhood in that time. That's the thing I remember most. Why are we fetching water? All that is gone past. Not because there's government water, because that self-help. Everybody went and got their own boreholes.
Lagos is very peaceful. There is no crime. We don't see police all over the place with guns. The only thing, once a while you see the police on the road and you see them with their baton, not guns. They don't even have pistol, not to talk of the big rifle they carry all over the place now. As if Lagos is now a police state.
You could walk from Aguda to Ogulano Drive, very easily. You were not thinking anything will happen to you. We used to walk to and from school very conveniently, growing up in Surulere. And then when we moved to Ogba, we had these LSTC buses then. It was 5 kobo from Ogba to, what's this bus stop now? Jibo. You just paid 5 kobo. And the bus used to come like clockwork. 5:45, the bus was there in the morning. And then when you closed from school, you just walked over to Yaba and took the same bus home. And so there was this sense of community. Everybody knew everybody, and everybody was everybody's friend, that kind of thing.
Lagos was very multicultural, but it had a lot of divides. So there were many different communities, and they all were integrated with one another, but it was interesting to see them separately. So you had your Lebanese community, you had your Indian community, you had your the Nigerians, the French, Francophone-speaking community from other countries, and I think it was really interesting to see all of that growing up.
That's a very good question. What did Lagos look like? I would say Lagos. It's probably in looks. It's probably better now than when we're growing up, because at that point we thought that there was nothing that could be done to change the face of Lagos State. But in the past, let's say 8-10 years, there have been significant changes in Lagos State. But growing up, I remember that as a child, we weren't concerned about security issues. That's one thing I know. Kids could play, but right now, I don't allow my kids play outside. It's after school is indoors, so those are the dynamics I see.
If it is food, it's right next door to us in Saragogo at Faji Market. It was about the most active market on Lagos Island. There is one at Sangros, and there's another at Eriko, if I recall right. But the Faji Market is central to Lagos Island and gets to be patronized largely by most people in Lagos. That's where they get most of their food items. There is also Jankara Market, very close to Isaragogo, and also central, although now it's been broken down. And now it's not much more of what it was then. Now, if you're talking about food items, you will get them more from Faji Market, Sangros, or Eriko, depending on where your abode is. Ours will be largely Faji Market, which is the same street. That Faji Market is on the same street as you have Ali Street from Tinubu. You see, when you go into Ali Street at Tinubu, it's the same street that takes you to Idumagbo. Up to Faji Market, it is Ali Street. From Faji Market, midway, it changes to Isaragogo. And from there, it's at the playing ground area, Isaragogo Square. The name changes to Princess Street, which takes you to Idumagbo. So it's the same single street that is given 3 different names depending on your location on it.
I think making motor cars out of St. Louis sugar packets. And we had this tree that bore a kind of inedible fruit in the compound in Ikorodu, in my grandfather's compound. And we'd tie a piece of string to the front of the St. Louis carton and put some sand in it to give it a bit of weight. We'd either use milk tins or, the fruit, this round fruit that grew on the tree in the compound. It was called an araba tree. And we would basically roll that along. That's my earliest memory of living in Lagos State, in Ikorodu, yeah.
Upcoming musicians like me, to have slots in the different program that were happening. I remember that Pa Christopher Kolade at the time was the head of NBC, was the Director General of the NBC, and quite a lot of people. It was quite interesting then. We have rediffusion. If you want to listen to news, it was through the rediffusion. The rediffusion was what everybody can afford to have in their houses, and the Nigerian rediffusion services will come to collect their money monthly. That was the what was common in those days. And Lagos used to be very lively, and the nightlife was there was no armed robber. There was nothing as musicians in those days. We used to play at different nightclubs, and we would trek from one place to the other. No armed robber, nothing whatsoever. We have joints where they were selling dodo in the midnight. So when we go to play in different nightclubs, we know where to trek to get all those things. And Egbeti, Marina there, and Balogun, and Brussels, that was the most popular street in Lagos then.
In those days, we play games like Ayo, Ludo, and we also have Ogo. We play something like Ogo, and Ampe. We do 10-10, something like that. Those were very simple days and challenging, but not something that you can establish a crime from. It's very simple and innocent games.
We used to do suwe. Suwe. Okay. So we used to draw lines, rectangle lines, two on each side, that we we jump between. We have a symbol. Each person has his own symbol. You throw it. Then when you throw it, you start to maneuver between the circles, and you get to your symbol. Then I like the Alo Akpamo and the moonlight stories that our grandparents and our parents used to, tell us at that time.
During the daytime, we play table tennis. I'm a lefty, and the people will rally around me to put values on me to play. So we are playing table tennis. We have the Okisuno Street versus Freeman Street.
I loved most girly games. I was not a sporty person, no, not at all. I loved girly games, Tente, Ring a Ring of Roses, all those regular, all those are born in January, stand up and all that. Just girly games generally, and those were the games I loved. Of course, what was this game where you throw stones and catch the one on the floor? I don't know the name now, but it was just, yeah. And hopscotch, which we call suwe here. Well, yeah.
Cooking. We would sit outside, and cut all sorts of leaves from nearby trees, and then just create an imaginary fire, an imaginary bowl, put everything together, and that was what we used to do. We used to play house. Somebody's the mommy, somebody's the daddy. Those are my favorite games.
What else? Soccer. Playing it, watching it, moving it.
Nickname Romario.
Soccer. I used to run away from home to go and watch football. USC Stadium and National Stadium. Yeah, all the time. I used to run away from home. Saturday, Sunday, they can't find me. Luckily, in those days, all football games were played from 4:45 to 6:45. All games used to kick off at 4:45. So it was in the evening, and I could be back home by 7:15, and nice and easy, yes. So those were the major things that we did growing up, yes. In the days of Odegbami, Adokie, Felix Owolabi, Kenneth Abana, Christian Mad, oh my God, don't remind me. Lagos was beautiful. Everything happened in Lagos. Rangers shooting. Bender, the day Bender played Shooting Stars, and over God knows how many people died. I was there. Luckily, I had my own plan then was never to leave the stadium until it's totally empty, because it was the first few people that rushed to the gates. Unfortunately, lights went out and the gates were not open, so there was serious stampede. So only God knows, I can't remember, maybe like 800 to 1,000 people died, and it was near where we were seated. But that was the night that we replied stupid Benden Insurance, because the year before they beat us 2-0. So we beat them 2-1 that night. So we cried a bit, but we were quite happy. Of flashback, yes. That was the year then we won Ibare, Henry Oboe, Sam Okpodu, all those madmen came and just destroyed everybody. The year they beat us 2-0 in semi-final, they beat Rangers 4-1 in the final.
Well, it's very simple, football. That's the football. Yeah. Even then, everybody knew more about football. I even knew the name of the teams at that time. And I don't know anybody that can tell me in Nigeria that can mention a Nigerian club and their players. Then I knew all the teams and then all the players at that point. So football, definitely.
I didn't have any sisters, so I had to learn everything at school. So, we played 10-10, we played Ludo, we played What, we played, all the things that you don't really get much of these days.
I love table tennis, number one. And we have one game we normally play in Lagos that time. We call it Ayo. Ayo Ikoto. When we turn it, it will be grinding on the ground. Especially we Lagos people, we like it too much because we are expert on it. When it covers, any stranger who doesn't know how to play it, we try to put Kong on his hand, either at the backhand or the forehand, so that, and I love boxing as well.
Of course, the obvious football and table tennis, I would say.
Favorite game, football, easy. Easy peasy. Football, and then I also liked table tennis. That was something that I played a lot. Actually, gambled a lot with that.
Apart from music that I was deeply in, as a member of the school band, and I played table tennis very well.
We had cinemas. We had Regal Cinema in Ibitemeta, on very near the Denton police station. We also have the Casino Cinema, which got burnt some time ago.
Sheila Cinema. We have Domino Cinema and Corona Cinema in Obadino in Lagos. So we will walk down with your peers, your friend, that you will go. If you miss 6 to if you miss 6 to 9, you won't mix 9 to 12. So, and you can imagine at that time, 9 o'clock, you just be walking home majestically, no threats to life. So everything was so good and unique. That time, that was during the time of when you go for Indian film, that you will hear about Amitabh Bachchan and Dramendra and Emma Malin, and all those, and you know about real love.
In those days, going shopping was like an occasion. So if your parents took you to a place like Kingsway and Leventis and UTC, it was an outing. It wasn't just about buying things. It was fun. And then there were things around there. Maybe the amusement park once or twice. It was not. My parents were not too into taking you out like that. But yeah, I loved going shopping.
We had some places, like we used to go to Fellas Jump on Saturday, Sunday afternoons at 2 o'clock. Fellas Jump was at Fela Ransom Kuti. The jump was then at Alagomeji bus stop. I think that place is now an eatery. Then we used to go to Roy Chicago at Mushin. He had his band stand there, and we used to go there to relax. We also used to go to Ikoyi Club, Ikoyi Park. Ikoyi Park is now Parkview Estate. It has been converted to Parkview Estate, but it used to be a relaxation site in those days. And also Bar Beach, where we go at Easter time or Christmas time to relax. The Bar Beach on Victoria Island. At that time, there was no Elegushi or Ikota or anything. Lagos stopped at Bar Beach at that time. And on the mainland, it stopped at Maryland. Beyond Maryland, people go by boat. If you want to go to Ekpe in those days, you had to first of all go to Ikorodu by boat. And then you go by boat also from Ikorodu and cross over to Ekpe. Even up to recently, when the Ikorodu road was opened up, you had to first of all drive to Ikorodu and then take a boat from Ikorodu to Ekpe. It was Jakonde that opened up Victoria Island to Lekki side. There was no Lekki at that time.
We go to railway compound at Ebute Meta there. Railway compound, because we have a lot of fruits in railway compound. So we enjoy going there. We pluck fruits, mangoes, pears, name it. And under the tree, we sit down and relax. We enjoy ourselves.
Under the mango tree. There was one of my neighbors, EMC Ajenifuja, there was a large mango tree in front of their house. And then they had a shop in their garage. So all of us, as in all the children, we would sit down under a large mango tree from, whenever the TV shows had finished, I think it was 6, then we'll sit there until like 8. And then after that, my own grandmother then would call us, and then we would put out a mat in front of the house, and we'll sit down on the mat outside. It was like there were no mosquitoes then, because I can't imagine doing that now. We would sit on a mat outside, and she would tell us stories until around maybe 9, where we would all now go to our separate homes. There was no issue of one mother is looking, where is her child, where is her child? Everybody knew where everybody would be at that time.
The other thing we used to enjoy on weekends, and it is unfortunate that it's not there anymore, and I pray maybe somebody who's listening would take this into consideration, was the race course. Lagos State had a beautiful race course. My father at one point was the vice chairman of the race course because he had so many horses running. So we used to go with him on weekends, and it was the gathering place of the embassies, of the diplomatic corps, of the businessmen, and it was just like a social gathering. It was so beautiful. The top people in the community had their own horses competing with each other. It just created a nice atmosphere, and it's still there. Unfortunately, nobody's Tafewa Balewa Square, the race course, everything is still there, and it is not utilized properly. And it's so easy for someone to look into it, because every big city, if you look at it in the world, has horse racing. And horse racing is not just gambling, it is a sport. And it could easily be looked into and find a way maybe to restart it again.
For my King's College entrance examination, I was playing football. As early as that period, you go for, I think the exam started around 9 in the morning. I was already on the football field in Jersey when my uncle came, grabbed me and put me on a bicycle to go to King's College at Tafawa Balewa Square. I did my entrance examination in the jersey and pants because he believed, and he sat right outside the door of the exam hall because he believed that if he left there, I would go running to play football and I would not attend to that, the examination. Football, most of us who grew up in that area lived it. Once you can get out of the sight of your parent, you are in there. But that's not all. Where we are sitting now used to be party grounds. This is water, or this was water. But when you enter Parkview, as you come in, before you you come to the junctions, because where Parkview ended then, the rest of it used to be party grounds for Lagosians during Easter, at festival periods. Muslims, Christians come in here to have their parties. There used to be a lot of crabs and snakes also here on this side. And we used to even bring pails to collect crabs and take home. And sometimes you have to put rag around your hand and put your hand in the hole to get crabs. And sometimes it's a snake you will pull out. And it could be very dangerous. The J.K. Randall Memorial Swimming Pool, they've broken it down now. That's very close to Muson Center. That used to be another favorite area for most Lagosians to go swimming. And next door to it is where they call Love Garden, and I believe the name was then. You have that next door to it. And to go in, from in there, you also can get onto the Victoria Island, the beach, where you have just a narrow wooden bridge around Bonny Camp to cross, and then you walk from there to the beach. There used to be only one building very close to the beach. I'm not sure, was it Tinubu or Masha that was said to own that building? It's no longer there now. It used to be around where the police station is now at Victoria Island. But with the sand filling and the rest of them, that one disappeared. But again, that was good ground for people to go out to enjoy themselves and whatnot.
We had J.K. Randall Memorial Hall. That time, Merrymakers, Swinton Garden, a lot that time. And we have Pension Smith at Agege, where we always have whatever.
Babbage. On Sunday, when my dad was free, he packed us into the car, take us to Dr. Maja's beach house, it was in those days. We would have a picnic and then come back home. That was the highlight of our lives. That we went to, and then Easter, Monday, everybody goes to Bar Beach. Then we would swim, we would eat our packed lunch and things like that. That was fun, that's what we did.
Maybe I used to love where our parents used to take us back then. They used to take us maybe once or twice a year to Federal Palace. I remember that. That used to be a nice place. Another place I remember is maybe Koi Park. There's no more now. Is that what it used to be called? Yeah, I think so, Koi Park. Well, I remember always being in the car, markets, just going to markets. I think then they used to go to, I think it was Ido, that they used to go Ido market and then Oyinbo market. And then we used to go to Okeari, on that level. So my dad would drive my mom. Those markets, yeah.
As a child, I liked the National Theatre, National Arts Theatre, not the least because my uncle was a playwright who wrote quite a few plays and actually went to the trouble of staging them. So I liked going to the National Theatre. I think that's where I first watched. My first cinema movie was watched at National Theatre, and I think that was Star Wars. I watched Star Wars at the National Theatre back then, 1977, I think. I liked the place because I got properly introduced to the arts there. Ipitombi, the Rhodes, the Rhodes Voices, I think they were called, and so many other acts that I got to watch at the National Theatre. So, yeah, I loved it because of that. Then Ikoyi Club was another place that I liked going to because they had a massive swimming pool and we all got to play around, and the suya was heavenly.
Marina, Kingsway Stores was in Marina. And we have great stores like UTC, we have Shelerams, Shanghai. All those were at Marina. And Marina used to be a beautiful place in the evening for strolling and that's where people go to enjoy themselves in those good old days. And Ikoyi happened to be, that was where we have the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation.
Musicians then were Roy Chicago, Bobby Benson, Sylvester Uku, at that time the Igbo one. Then we had Fela and his Fela Ransom Kuti and his Kula Lobitos. He was not Egypt 80 at that time, but he became Egypt 80 later. But he was Fela Ransom Kuti and his Kula Lobitos when we were growing up.
The rhythm of Obe was very, very good.
My uncles had a selection, and that was what I grew up listening to. So that was what I gravitated towards, eventually. Paul Simon, very little Obi, very, very little Obi, but it was mostly Paul Simon and some reggae kind of music, Bob Marley and the likes.
I don't have a favorite kind of music. I just love beautiful music. You grew up with classical music on radio. You grew up with high life. You grew up with Fela was just up and coming at that time. I mean, when I was a child, you grew up with his own kind of sound. Even though it was called high life at that time, it had not really blossomed into Afrobeat as we know it today. I loved, there was James Brown, there was Tom Jones, there was Millicent Small, and then Nigerian artists. I loved Ebenezer Obey growing up because my school bus driver would have it playing all the Kete Kete songs, Efekpa Kete Kete Ni, all those things. You grew up with them. So I loved Ebenezer Obey in particular.
My music was actually influenced by my dad. So a lot of the music that he listened to, being in the car, we would listen to Sonny Ade, we would listen to Obey, we listened to Victor Laya.
We were again more into Harry Belafonte, this, that were extraneous to the generality of our people here. But if we were talking of local songs, we would rather stay with Fela. Again, I have no objection to, not even that I have no objection. I like Sakara, I like Juju, I like all those songs, and I can dance to them. I have no objection to them at all. If I hold a party, I'm ready to go with any of them throughout the day. But I have no specifics.
I enjoy all music because I love music. And I love native music too, especially Akpala and Sakara. I love them. I love them. But all sophisticated music, I'm musically inclined. I cannot be caught unawares. I mean, during our time, when you want to chase a lady, you write letter. When the lady got the letter, she will be hiding it. Because if the parents could see the letter with her, she's in problem. Later, if you have opportunity to see her, you can sing love song. I realize the way your eyes deceive me with tender look that I miss to follow. Just take away the paper that you gave me and say the one that you remind me of. Paper roses, like an imitation love to me. The lady will go back home and say, hey, see that man at party, oh. See that man, oh. I love that song, oh. What is his name? It is not money, but where you came from. Now it is money, 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 money.
Calypso and high life. That was the, and I still, today, is still the best music. Not all this bim, 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 bim that children listen to these days.
And some of the songs you young folks are doing now, I listen to it. Some are good, some are bad. Some are good, some are bad. For instance, I love Flavor. Flavor, what do they call him? I love that boy. He composes. That's why I don't know his language. He's a good composer. And then Olamide is another good composer. And Davido. I listen to them and I enjoy them. Sometimes I dance the way you dance. But when I'm tired, I sit down within 5 minutes.
Like anywhere else, I mean, we used to enjoy, of course, the European and American songs, Elton John, the Beatles, the Bee Gees, some African, of course, musicians. And we used to go on Sundays to the Federal Palace Hotel. The garden of the Federal Palace Hotel, every Sunday, used to have a very nice Nigerian musicians, different musicians playing.
In those days, Adelu Akisanya.
After Adelu, I would say Zil Onya, Vicky Yema Kumo, and the third one is Dan Maraya. Those are good musicians in those days.
At the Bakari, we have Julius Araba, Joe Araba. We are Fatan Rindela, who later became my boss, was playing under Joe Araba. We have Tunde Kings. Those were the father of Juju music. We have Akombi Ege. We have Akombi Wright. We have Ojogwe Daniel.
I like Sonny. Sonny Ade is my best.
Fela Nicola Pokuti, no contest.
Of course, Fela. Fela, it's everybody's favorite, I presume, Nigerian singer at that time.
Bob Marley.
I preferred Sonny to Obey. You know, then it was a straight fight between Sonny Ade and Ebenezer Obey.
Sonny was more.
He was younger. He was nearer us.
He was vibrant.
Yes.
Energy.
Our parents loved Obey, yes. But we used to love Sonny.
Stationary stores.
Yeah.
When we finish a game, Sonny will be playing, and all the supporters of stationary stores will, take some of the players, and we all go.
And then by the time we got to 16, 15, 16, 17, we started listening to Fela too.
Yeah.
Mo ti sọ fún pé fàájì la wà, Sisi jọ̀wọ́ kò má yí lọ o. Ọmọdé ń ṣe mí, Sisi mi dá. Sisi jọ̀wọ́ kò má yí lọ o. Kò gbé mi sáyà má yí lọ o.
Baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Láàárọ̀ Monday, Èkó nígbàgbà kúgbà o. Àárọ̀ Monday, Èkó nígbà. I can't remember the rest of it, but that's pretty much how it went.
Kónkó jábélé, kálukú ló mi ṣe tirẹ̀. Kónkó jábélé, kálukú ló mi ṣe tirẹ̀.
You're supposed to demonstrate.
Káwa ṣe tàwa. Káwọn ṣe tàwọn. Káwa ṣe tàwa. Kónkó jábélé, kálukú ló mi ṣe tirẹ̀. Àwọn ṣá. Ẹ̀yìn ọ̀la o.
And when I'm in the goalpost, when I remember that song, I say I'm going to give my best performance here. But I don't know what tomorrow will be like, you know.
Are you serious?
So,
They play, most of you don't know what they call Agidigbo music. Agidigbo is a very good music that if I'm opportuned, I can play it for this 50th anniversary, which Lagos is doing. Which some people didn't know, the youths. They don't know it. I can do that one as my own contribution. They don't know it. Even there's one boy, Okola, who is playing Agidigbo in Lagos. He's no more playing Agidigbo, he has turned into another thing, whereas Agidigbo has to start.
Easter time, we have all these egungun, you know, for the Easter festival. Egun will be out. We have one at Ebute Meta. That one is Rabiatu. He has a calabash full of, you know, different junks. So we now call her Rabiatu, and it's a woman. Rabiatu Onigbegbere, Rabiatu Onigbegbere. All the children in the area, they will be after, it will be behind the masquerade. And he will go from street to street, from Ebute Meta East, it's coming out at Ebute Meta East, and it will go down to Ebute Meta West, around the whole area, and now come back again to Ebute Meta East.
You have the Galede. They are the ones that dress. They usually will put some things on their back like hunchback, and then they will wear clothes on top of all that. They dance around and they play the Sakara music. Was what they play largely, but they entertain around the area. You have that Galede. You have the Igunus. That's the tall one, which was based at a Ekpetedo area of Lagos, but during their own season, they move around the whole of Lagos, pay visits to the chiefs and to the Oba of Lagos. You have the Ageris, that's the stilt ones, which again was festive. They have their own season, they go around Lagos, the children play around them, everybody goes around to see who is on the highest of the stilts, how dexterous people, the riders were on those hills, and some of them perform wonders on those hills.
We have about 86 heritage centers. The one that people will say yes, they know of in Lagos State, we talk of Eyo. It's real, the government has invested on and is there and they have been permanent.
I had friends, Yinka Lebioshu, she's a Lagosian, and I would go with her to the island, to their family house. So we just stay on the balcony and watch all of them trooping out of the different compounds. And then, yes, I loved the Eyo, but not to get close to them.
I live on the Palace Road, Reclamation Road. I was able to see most of these festivals. A house on Reclamation Road. People will come, we would invite people to come and watch the proceedings of the Eyo, of the Egunguns, of the Igunus. They are displayed, they are dancing. We didn't need to go down the road to the palace or anywhere. Sitting in our own living room and looking out of the window on our doorstep, we could see everything. We would see the Egungun. Tarzan was an Egungun that was revered in those days. He would flog people, people would run and fall over themselves. Then he would dance and things like that. And then there was the Gelede with huge bum dancing and just being effeminate. Then there's the Igunu, the tall, white Igunu, and they are dancing and everything. We'll be clapping and dancing, and it's a special day. There are special days of these festivals. I cannot say one in particular actually thrilled me, but everything we saw because of the location of the house. It has to pass through, whatever it is, it will pass through our door.
In Ikorodu division, we have series of cultural values that spread from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Like now, the first one we always do from the beginning of the year, which our forefathers, they were using to appease to God, to keep themselves busy, and they call it Odun Oba, Odun Oshu, which we are going to start from 19th of this month, and which is going to take about, they always say 3 months. And that time, they will not allow you to do party. There will be no music, there should be no drum. But now, we've modernized it. We've made sure it is for only 7 days. So they will ban the music. And that time, nobody can eat yam until they finish that Odun Oshu before they allow you to eat yam. So Ishu Tutun, they will start from there. And of course, we have our Odun Oro in Ikorodu. Odun Oro in Ikorodu is the one that is so secretive that is only male can come out. It used to be for 7 days that they will not allow any female to come out, to go anywhere at the core areas of Ikorodu town. But with civilization, it has been changed to only 1 day. So only 1 day from early in the morning, around 5, till late in the night, around 8, before they can open the town for everybody to come out. So we have Oro, we have Odun Liri, that Agemo will come out. And of course, we have the Igunukos and Eluku.
Eluku is the strongest of all the Oros we have, because different from all other Oros. It's only the real native of Ikorodu that can watch Eluku, that can come out to watch Eluku.
Well, that is why we said Eluku walking Fidoluku. We don't play with it for anybody that is not an indigene of Ikorodu to watch that Eluku. And it is something that our forefathers are using to appease to God. All right? And then, the days that I've been going out with them is to pray for the people, to wish everybody well, and all sort of good things that will happen to Ikorodu. So in the nutshell, Eluku is so valued to our culture that we don't play with it with foreigner.
The other Oros like Magbo and Leah, non-natives can come out. Only women cannot come out. But for a Eluku festival, is meant for the real natives of Ikorodu, the real native, let me put it, the real native of Ikorodu. There are some certain distinctions there. Those who think they are natives, some of them will not even come out during the local festival.
At Christmas, Surulere was the place to be. The entire Ailara Ojuelegba axis, Efiks living in that area. So Karimu, Ibidun, Cole Street. And so every Christmas and New Year you had masquerades, Ekpe, you had a lot of masquerades that would all, people would actually go, and then they go from house to house, they go to the houses of people from Cross River, and well, then there was no Akwa Ibom, so Cross River, and it was fun.
The most prominent one was the Brazilian carnival that used to be Surulere. That was a prominent one that involved everybody. And of course, you know, that stopped after the coup incident or something like that. So that stopped. Then the next one, which is very infrequent, was the Eyo Festival. So for me, those are the two that one remembers clearly. But around here, they naturally have their end of year local district, because this campus area, this Lafayette area, they're divided into two different sectors. So at the Christmas period, the campus people have their own, and the Brazilian quarters have their own.
I remember going to the West Indian Carnival. So we used to go to that every year because I had a very close friend whose mom was West Indian.
Are you talking about masquerade? Are you talking about Fanti? Are you talking about Gelede? Are you talking about... We have a lot of things that normally gives us good enjoyment. We have Kokoma that we enjoy. We have Mambo in those days. So automatically a lot of festivities sprang up in Lagos. There's no dull moment in Lagos.
One I can remember that I always remember growing up is maybe the Eyo Festival. My mother would take me from Apapa, would take the ferry and walk into Lagos to the Dumota area and just enjoy the whole day, just running up and down.
The Eyo Festival, I remember because obviously my family are very strongly intertwined with the Eyo Agiri. Also, the Magbo Festival in Ikorodu, the Liwe Likoro Festival, when the Agemos come out. And then there's the religious festivals, you know, the standard traditional religious festivals, the Salah Festival, Eid al-Maulud Festival, and Christmas, and Easter. You know, all these festivals were celebrated with great aplomb. Christmas, I remember, was always accompanied with fireworks. You know, we call them bangers in those days. And, you know, we used to take delight in scaring sometimes our elders with what we called knockouts in those days.
Eyo Festival used to be very, very interesting. So when anytime the Eyo Festival is on, it was very interesting because all Lagosians look forward to the Eyo Festival. And I remember Queen Elizabeth visited Nigeria in the year 1956. The year 1956, I was in the final year in the elementary school then. Oba Adele, Musa Ndiku Adele, reigned, and after him was Oba Oyekon. And now we have Oba Akiolu.
And
we had school